Welcome to Supplier Diversity Basics Training. You've got teams from WPP that are on. And as I mentioned, I really thought it would be just really great to have the teams hear from two companies, two people that have been very successful, and about your experiences. And there are three areas that I'd like for us to touch on. So we're going to talk about certification being one, opportunities being another, and then engagement. And so Sarah Madison Miller is the COO, executive producer, and dream maker of 1820 Productions and an Emmy award-winning production house. And she did not give me those talking points. I developed them on my own. Hi, Sarah, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me be here. I'm so excited to talk to your audience and be a part of this discussion. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and thank you for the wonderful introduction.
Thank you. And then joining Sarah and us today is Jasmine Brett Stringer. Jasmine is a speaker, lifestyle expert, media personality, influencer, and she's also founder of Share the Mic Minnesota. And so, or is it Share the Mic Minneapolis, Jasmine?
Share the Mic Minnesota, and thank you so much for having me. Really excited for this opportunity to connect with you, PPS, and your agency partner.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. All right. So why don't we get started, because you've taken time out to join us, and why don't you just take a minute to share a bit more about yourself and what you'd like for them to know about your companies. And let's start with you, Sarah.
Very good. Again, Sarah Madison Miller, thanks again for having me be here. I was in corporate America in healthcare for 15 years before I transitioned over into creative America. So I'm really excited to talk to this group today as well, because I understand your space. At 1820 Productions, we help companies like yours that are on this call, your clients, Anita. We help them create compelling branded content that sets them apart from their competition. We operate in three spaces with advertising agencies all across the country, like Edelman and the Richards Group, direct with corporations like MasterCard, Toyota, and Frito-Lay. And then we work in the television space. We're represented by A3 Agency for scripted and non-scripted content. And we work with networks like Discovery and BET. So that's a little bit more about us.
Wonderful, wonderful. And tell us more about you, Jasmine.
Yeah, so my company, Carpe Diem with Jasmine, I say companies partner with us because we're going to help you and your clients take a targeted action. You know, if you hire me as a professional speaker, we're going to motivate and inspire your organization. If you hire me to do an influencer campaign or for a specific activation, it's all about that action that you want the consumer to take, whether it's for them to be informed, whether it's for them to change a buying practice or buying habit, but it comes down to getting consumers and employees and people to take targeted action.
Wonderful, fantastic. All right, so over the next 15 minutes, what I'd like to do is to ask you a few questions and then open up the floor for questions, should the attendees today have questions. All right, so let me start with certification. And I was covering the certification section earlier and just touched on the barriers, but we hear oftentimes that the barriers to certification is about the cost. And that's the reason a lot of suppliers are not getting certified. But I'd like for you to share with the group, and maybe Jasmine, we start with you because you're more recently certified than Sarah and I. And so about your experience and your thoughts about certification.
Yeah, I am. I am 1 year certified by, WBE, a lot of organizations in the state of Minnesota, DBE, SBA. And I will tell you, I don't agree with that comment about the cost being the hindrance. I actually think the process of being certified or getting certified is the hindrance. I was able to go through a program here in the state of Minnesota that was working with women-owned businesses to go through the certification process. and they provided us with a coach. I know that I have peers that have gone through the certification process, and majority owned businesses, owned by white women, and they've paid like outside consultants. Now, I don't know if I would have paid an outside consultant to do the certification for me, but I really think just answering all of those questions, from your articles of incorporation, it's like, when did I do this? And they're little small nuances that if I didn't have this coach that I could call and say, what does this mean? I would have been like, oh, I'll get to this later, or what? I would have been frustrated and I would not have completed the process.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So thank you for that insight. Absolutely. It can be daunting, especially if you don't have a team of people working behind the scenes to do that. Now, Sarah, because certifications are required to be renewed annually, for some and every 2 years for others, why do you continue to be certified? Why do you renew?
It's a great question, and I struggle with it honestly every single time. And I'll explain why I struggle. We've been certified for at least 10 years now, probably a little bit more. It's an every year thing. It's the same kind of documentation. So it's pretty much check the box for us. We continue to be certified because we do some government work as well, and it helps in that capacity. The flip side of that is it's also frustrating a little bit. It's not really a cost barrier. If you are a thriving business, it's something that you can move beyond. What I am concerned about is that companies, and possibly some people that are even listening today, use it as a crutch. That they can't find certified companies. They can't find certified diverse companies. And I think sometimes it is used as a crutch to check that box that they can't find people, whereas my non-diverse counterparts don't have to get certified, but yet still get business. Right. So to me, we do it because we do government work and we understand the processes there, but we're a thriving, debt-free, cash flowing company and have been for years. And I get sometimes a little discouraged when I hear companies saying we can't find anybody certified and diverse. And it makes a barrier to me that's used as a crutch. So perhaps I'm not the best person to ask. We keep doing it because we have to in the government space. But I will tell you, there are some amazing companies out here doing great work that if it's certification that you're looking for so that they're vetted, we're out here and we're doing the work.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we're glad you continue to be certified. Thank you. All right, so we're starting to see agencies take on the practice of including a diverse supplier in every bid, right? So because there's this push and there's this demand really to have diverse supplier participation. And I get it, I understand it. People are looking for solutions, right? And ways to do it. So it seems like a great idea. And years ago, when I started in supplier diversity, I mean, we did that because you didn't have the cost that you have of doing business now. You had longer lead times, it was part of a procurement practice then. So while you still have to get 3 bids, what has your experience been? And I'll start with you, Sarah, with this in being approached because people are trying to have a diverse supplier included in the bid.
And we appreciate, it's great that people are more engaged now and people are wanting to seek us out to be a part of the bid process. That's a wonderful thing. What we have found over the last few years is that we're a lot of times used as bid bait and people don't have a sincere desire to then collaborate with, and I'm speaking on behalf of many companies because we all talk, they don't have a sincere desire to actually then use the diverse supplier. We're used to get numbers, to check the box, but not always then get the opportunity to get the business and a sincere chance to really be in the mix. As many of you probably already on the call know, it's costly, it's timely, to put an RFP together, to put a treatment together, to have a director's treatment put together. And so when we get into that space where we're used as bid bait, it can be a little discouraging. I do, however, have a solution, if I may share.
Absolutely.
Something that your clients that are on the call or people could consider, if you're really sincere about getting a diverse company or diverse team into your mix and giving them opportunities, instead of triple bidding with 2 non-diverse suppliers and 1 diverse supplier, triple bid with 3 diverse suppliers, then you're guaranteed to get a diverse supplier in the mix and an opportunity to truly collaborate, build trust, and build a partnership for the long term. To me, I think that's a more well-rounded opportunity and approach to really starting to chip away at some of the challenges that we have faced, all of us, and trying to get diverse suppliers into the mix.
Wonderful, thank you. And I saw a couple reactions that others agree with that approach. So that's fantastic. And so Jasmine, is there anything you'd like to share with the group about your experience in terms of bidding, responding to RFPs?
I was telling Sarah when we were in the virtual green room that we just finished an RFP, and it was, extremely labor intensive. And then I had a follow-up brunch with someone that had been working with this organization on the back end, and they said, well, they basically want to stay with the same vendor, but because of certain reasons, they felt they needed to put it out. And I was like, oh my, I can't believe the amount of time and resources and energy we put behind this when we actually thought we had a honest shot at this. I talked to the organization ahead of time, submitted questions, and then to find out that no, this is actually just a status quo, and maybe an opportunity to see if there were some new trends that they weren't aware of that they might want to address. So really disheartening.
It's unfortunate that I worked in procurement for many years, and yeah, it's part of what we do and would have to do based on the requirements. And for the team, it's not, I wanted you to hear from actual suppliers about what people are experiencing right now, because when I look at, I don't know about you ladies, when I look at what my legal costs were even 5 years ago, they're almost double. I mean, my attorney's gone from maybe $7.50 an hour to $9.50 an hour. And so when we're having those back and forth legal conversations over a contract with their internal teams, the cost of doing business sometimes can be prohibitive for smaller contracts. Just wanted to know if you've had any experience with that. I mean, because my legal fees per contract runs in the neighborhood of $15,000 to $30,000 per contract.
Yeah, I've run into that numerous amounts of times. And, I always talk to my clients ahead of time, ask them about their payment terms and, this is what I expect. Is this feasible? And then you get the contract and it's something completely different. And it's like, well, how did this happen? So one of my best practices is now I ask, can we have legal in on these preliminary conversations just to make sure that we are all in alignment? Because I know sometimes things get lost in translation, or, you are, sharing the information with your legal counterparts that you've heard from me, or I'm hearing information incorrectly. So if we could have a preliminary conversation before we actually get the physical contract, that can save all of us a lot of time and be a little bit more efficient.
That's great. That's wonderful. And Sarah, is there anything you'd like to add, or one other thing that you'd like to leave the group with before I open it up for questions?
I think that was a great summary and a good solution, and maybe bringing us forward and collaborative discussions, especially we work with MasterCard and a lot of other companies that are going into kind of a fee-based, adding a fee on top of it. So having those discussions on the front end so that we all are on the same page and know it's super helpful. And I think one last thing to underscore is just being open to the possibility that there are great companies across the country that do great work and would love to collaborate with you, that would love to start on a medium-sized project and work into a larger project to build trust. But you have to take that first step, and people, those of us that are out here that are looking for opportunities and are doing great work with other large companies, give us the opportunity. We'll work harder than anybody else anyway.
Exactly. Can I add one other thing too as a best practice? So, last year I did a program with Small Girls PR agency, and they were wonderful. It was for Oblay, and we had some long nights as a part of this project. And I happen to be in Minneapolis, which is Central Time, but they recognized that we were going at it pretty long. And so for 2 of those nights, they sent the team, not just their internal team, but me as a vendor and another vendor working on it, they sent us DoorDash gift cards. And they said, you know what, our team is going to have dinner. We want to make sure that you're getting dinner. And not that I couldn't get my own my own dinner delivered, but that I was like, wow, that shows that they really value our input and what we're bringing to the table. And they, they're treating us as equal parts as their internal team.
Yeah. And are you finding that suppliers are now being more selective about the work that they seek or accept?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think many of us are wanting to be seen as a partner as opposed to just a check the box. I think many of us have had so many situations where we have been bid bait, where our creative has been used, but we haven't gotten the opportunity. And many of us are tired of that. We want to be in partnership with teams for us, ad agencies, corporations that really want us at the table, value our creativity, because we're creatively ideating in the television space. It really serves our corporate partnerships as well as our agency partnerships very, very well. And we are being more selective because we want to be in partnership and collaboration as opposed to just an afterthought.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I'd like to open the floor up and ask if there are any questions, and you can just use the raise hand feature. And Thomas, if you can monitor that, and then we can get you unmuted if there are any questions from the group, from the audience.
And I will say, Anita, that we are a team that loves to laugh. We work really hard, but we love to laugh. So if you don't love to laugh, not the right team for you. Just want you to know.
Don't worry, I've been laughing since I've been on this training, so that's so funny.
I would echo that we love to laugh, and we love, we're people at the end of the day. So I don't know if it's the Southern girl in me, but I want to know how you're doing. How was your weekend, to begin to develop and have, somewhat of a relationship with you. So it's not just, okay, this is what we're working on. It's not all about the business, but there is some, personal rapport with one another.
Absolutely. So it sounds like for you both, establishing relationships is very important, and having the opportunity to do that when people are just so busy and they don't really have the time, but finding a way to be able to do that so that you can best support them in their work sounds really important. Well, I think okay, go ahead.
I do have one question, one request actually. Can the speakers actually drop their websites into the chat when they have a moment, maybe right after this or during?
Absolutely. And I see that Kim has a question. So Kim, can we unmute Kim so she can ask it? Kim Manning.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
I didn't have a question right now, but I did want to just thank you for joining and providing your experiences for us. It was helpful. We kind of feel like we have similar experiences, I guess, when we're working with clients and RFPs. So I understand. And I just wanted to just say thanks and providing also your POV.
Oh, wonderful. And Kim is one of the organizers of this training event. So she's been one of the people that we've been working with. So thank you so much, Kim.
And Kim, thank you for giving your perspective, because it's helpful to hear it from your vantage point as well. honestly, the open dialogue really helps us all to get better and understand one another so that we can all together win.
Thank you.
Yeah, Kim, I would want to say, yeah, thank you so much for that. A lot of times we hear about the golden rule, do on the others as like done unto you, but perhaps, we think about those experiences and it's like, oh yeah, when we do have our RFP out, we remember, the way we felt, that we might have been mistreated or there were, some things that rubbed us the wrong way. So how can we make sure that this is a extremely positive experience for those vendors responding to our request?
Well, again, ladies, thank you so very much. We're break is next, so I don't want to hold them any longer. Please remember to put your information in the chat, and we'll make sure that we send it out as well afterwards. But please feel free to put it in the chat. And thank you. Really appreciate you all joining us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.